Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As you are hopping on, hop into the chat. Let me know how you're feeling today. Say a quick hello. Tell me something weird about yourself. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics and a topic I talk about a lot. My name is Mariah. I'm the creator of Mint Mind. And I really just wanted a place that is free, accessible for people to receive what they need: help sleeping, rejuvenating your morning, reflection questions if you journal, even frequency music. So, this talk is going to be really fun because for a living, I'm a hypnotherapist. So, we talk about thoughts, we talk about beliefs, and we'll reframe a lot of that. Before we get into our topic about thoughts, let's ground our thoughts by taking a deep breath in, filling our lungs completely, and on the exhale, tracing our exhale from the crown of our head all the way down to our toes. Another deep breath in whenever you're ready. Big breath in, filling your lungs completely, and on the exhale, grounding yourself. Tracing your exhale from the crown of your head down your toes. One more time on your own time. And take as much time as you can with it. And as you make your way back, what thoughts have been bopping around that head? What have you been thinking lately? A lot of the times they're recurring thoughts we've had yesterday, the day before that, the day before that, last month, last year even. Especially if we have a troubling past. Sometimes we will replay those thoughts, and this is all about how to think new thoughts. Sometimes it can feel like our thoughts have us locked up in the slammer, and we've got a lifetime sentence. But that's not the case. You have a lot more control over your mind. Your mind is a powerful thing, and you can use it to your advantage. So yeah, just get a sense of what thoughts have you been thinking? What are the recurring thoughts? And maybe you can even, if you don't even know the thoughts, what are you just feeling day to day? Are you white knuckling through your day? Is it a sense of anxiety? Is it a sense of heaviness? Is it a sense of sadness? What thoughts could be coming from that? And then what is at the root of those thoughts, which is typically your beliefs. Especially in our younger years, we're gathering so much information about the world, what it means to survive in the world, what it means to be a person living in the world, whether it means to be male or female or non-binary, to be a sexual being, asexual being, right? To be a sister, brother, daughter, mom, dad. So many hats that we have to wear, and we gather as much information as possible. Some of the information that we gather tends to create harm down the line. So thoughts thought enough will create beliefs. And then more thoughts that are generated from that belief, those thoughts are created to look for evidence to confirm that belief further. So this is a term we have in psychology called confirmation bias, where we look for evidence that confirms the bias. And your beliefs are the bias. The mind is a funny thing because what you look for, you will find. Whatever that belief is, whatever that bias is. If you're looking for evidence, you will find it. What evidence have we been looking for? What bias or belief have we been wanting to confirm? Maybe those biases are: the world is hard. I'm put on this planet to suffer. I'm not enough. Are these positive or negative that we're functioning from? And how can we shift the negative ones, right, to get a sense of relief? So the beliefs create the thoughts, which cause us to feel a type of way. So that leads to the feeling. And our bodies are incredible. I didn't even know the word to blessings. They're incredible blessings. We'll go with that. Miracles. And they will tell us. They keep score. They never forget. So your body will tell you exactly how you're feeling throughout the day. And if you bring awareness into it, which is going to be some of the tips we're going to talk about, but I'll just briefly mention it, bringing awareness to it. It's no longer a pattern, right? It's no longer a kind of like a cycle or a habit, I should say. Because you're bringing it into your conscious awareness. It's not something that's happening underneath the carpet. And if we can bring awareness to it, then we can start creating the shifts. It's hard to create shifts in something you're not even aware of. And part of that will come from assessing the body. How is the body feeling? Why am I feeling really irritable and just this huge sense of discomfort right now? Why am I feeling agitated and angry? What were the thoughts that were just passing through my mind? And dive into those thoughts to get to the belief. What are the beliefs that's at the foundation of these thoughts? So the body is going to feel a feeling. And this is also going to influence our behaviors, right? Also, just a side note, feelings that are within the body, they create sensations, right? And those sensations long term, those chronic sensations can co-create symptoms. So much can come from a belief, then a thought, then a feeling, then something within the body, sensation within the body. And if it's chronic, then that can also co-create symptoms. If you're able to grasp that, and we're going to take a deeper dive into it, but if you're able to grasp what's in this live today, it will benefit you in every area of your life. And I don't say that lightly. Like I said, I'm a hypnotherapist. I've been a hypnotherapist for over 5 years. I have 3 certifications in hypnosis. And I see firsthand and have experienced firsthand the dramatic, radical life shifts from shifting a belief. We'll talk about that a little later on. So thinking a thought over and over and over again creates a belief. Then more thoughts will come from that belief to confirm that belief, right? Confirmation bias. We're looking for evidence that confirms the bias. Whatever you look for, you're going to find. It doesn't matter what the belief is, you're going to find evidence of that. It could be a positive belief, it could be a negative belief, you're going to find evidence. The world is big, so much is happening in there, you're going to find evidence. What have you been looking for evidence to confirm? What belief? What kind of evidence have you been looking for? So we're confirming the belief or the bias with more thoughts. Those thoughts cause us to have a feeling, right? Anger, irritation, avoidance, whatever it may be, anxiety, which influences our behaviors. I'm going to give you guys some examples of this, just kind of reiterating it. And just reiterating the side note, feelings within the body chronically, long-term, will co-create symptoms. Okay, so let's talk about, for example, let me break this down for you. I'm going to draw you a picture because I love pictures. I have a photographic memory, so if you are also a visual learner, you're going to love this. Let's say, let me move my notes. Let's say all of these little scraggly little lines, don't worry, it'll look better, are thoughts, right? And the more we think the thought, the same circle it gets. So let's say I'm thinking a thought right here, and I create the full circle of this thought. Another thought comes in, but it goes to the same groove that I've just created. Okay, we thought that thought again. Another thought comes in, but now it's got a pathway. It's starting to go to the same thought. So we can be thinking other things that are going to get swooped up in that same thought. And this is a big thing with trauma, if you do remember trauma. Some people will block it out completely. Anyway, so you're thinking thoughts, but they're getting swooped up in the same groove. And the more you think this thought, the deeper the groove, right? Do you see how like dark this circle is getting? The more you think the thought, the deeper the groove. Sometimes it's hard to not think the thought because the thought groove is so deep. It's had so much traffic going into this one particular thought that sometimes you even try to think other things, but it's still leading you here. And this is what a thought groove means. So the title of this live is Thought Grooves and Shifting Your Reality. When I talk about thought grooves, that's it. It's a thought you've thought over and over and over and over and over again. And start to think about it as a pathway, right? You're clearing a pathway to a particular destination. Let's say that this thought is our destination. Or this destination could be a feeling, right? It could be anger. And we don't necessarily mean to go to that destination, but we're still going through the same pathway. The more we go down a pathway, any kind of pathway, we notice it's easier to go down that pathway because all of the weeds are trudged over. We're walking over the weeds. It's easy. We're not going to go straight into the bush. Why would we go into the bush when the path is right here? The path is clear. We already know what to expect. Even if it doesn't make us feel safe, even if we don't like it, we still know what to expect. And remember, the mind tends to go towards what's familiar. So even if it is causing anger, even if it's causing, negative emotions, we know what to expect, even if that thing is just anger. Feel free to hop into the comment section and say any questions you might have, because I do want this to be a collaborative thing. This is my time to connect with you. I see some good mornings in the chat. Good morning, good morning. All right, so now we can see that this is a pathway. The more we think the thought, the deeper the groove and the more fluid the pathway. Sometimes it's hard to take another path because the path is already here. So let me give you an example. Let's run through an example of what this might look like for a person. Let's say the thought groove is, why didn't I pass that test? This is great for students. Why didn't I pass that test? Or if you are working and you do meetings, maybe you can even say, why didn't I do great on that presentation? Whatever, make it relatable to you. Why didn't I pass that test? So I'm thinking this over and over and over and over again. I didn't pass that test. I didn't pass that test. I didn't pass that test. It's creating this belief. And maybe that belief is, for example, I'm stupid. I must be stupid. I didn't pass that test. And it's easy to laugh at these kind of things because maybe 80% of us is like, no, we know for a fact that we're not stupid, right? But there's still that 20% that is saying, I must be stupid because I didn't pass that test, right? So that's the belief. Now that we have that belief, we're looking for evidence that confirms this. You can imagine that beliefs are lenses that you see the world through. So let's say I've got my belief, right? I must be stupid. These are the lenses I'm seeing the world. It's coloring everything that I'm looking at. So all the information that I'm absorbing is being absorbed through the filter, through the lens of I must be stupid. And that is, I miscalculated the tip at the restaurant, confirming evidence, right? When typically that wouldn't really mean anything. Maybe I was just rushing, whatever it may be. But in this context, it does, because I already have the belief and I'm looking at the world through the lens of I need evidence to confirm this. Number 2, I couldn't remember the name of that book that I wanted to recommend to my friend the other day. That must also mean that I'm stupid. Number 3, I tripped over my words when talking to my employer the other day. That must also mean that I'm stupid, right? So more and more thoughts creating the same groove to the same destination. We following? Comments. I've had this with hatred and other things towards a person or two in my life. Yeah. And it becomes a deep, deep groove that poured over in so many areas. Absolutely. Okay. All right. We're going to continue with this, and I'm going to give you some kind of quote unquote medicines or tips for this, but let's continue. So we've got the thoughts, we've got the beliefs, we've got the confirming evidence of it, right? Which is just more and more thoughts. What we look for, we will find. And maybe it's creating even more thoughts that are starting to dictate our behaviors. Well, let's talk about mood. Obviously, when I think about these thoughts, it's going to make me feel a type of way. So I might be irritable. I might be feeling like I want to dissociate. I might be extremely avoidant, feeling very avoidant. Or it could be really anxious, depends on your attachment style. So that's already causing my body to feel a certain type of way. Let's say that I'm starting to feel a lot of stress. My cortisol levels, the stress hormone, is heightening. It's off the charts. Every time I think about things, or the possibility of me being stupid, or whatever it may be, all of these evidence that I'm gathering, compounding, that is causing me to feel this way, I'm starting to feel my cortisol levels heighten. I'm stressed. I'm feeling stressed. This is going to create behaviors. So maybe the behavior is, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not putting myself in any position where I could potentially miscalculate a tip or slip over my words or whatever it may be, right? I should hide. I should not leave the house. I shouldn't be seen. Maybe those behaviors look like ghosting friends, of course, isolating yourself. You know, in any kind of spotlight, we're feeling irritable. We want to hide. And the symptoms of that could be because your cortisol levels are shooting through the roof and are chronic, it could be a contributing factor to high blood pressure, co-creating symptoms. So when people say thoughts create your reality, it's not a woo-woo manifestation thing. It could be woo-woo, like go off, like have your fun with it. But it's legitimate. And for those reasons, psychologically, biologically, right? Okay. Start to think about, what symptoms do you have? And is it coming from a chronic feeling? You could trace these back, just how we traced them forward, you can trace them back down. What symptoms do you have? Are they coming from a chronic feeling, an emotion? Where is that emotion coming from, right? What beliefs? Also, the symptoms that we might have also might shift our behaviors, right? Because how can we exist the same if we're in a state of chronic pain? Lots of gold nuggets here. If you're able to grasp this, and we'll do a little summary. I've got about 10 minutes, and I really want to jump into some of the tips and tricks. But ask yourself, what story have you been telling yourself? What lenses are you looking out at the world through? What are you coloring your lenses with? What beliefs? Is that I'm not enough? Looking for evidence of that. I'm not desirable or desired. I'm unwanted. I'm alone. I'm misunderstood. Nobody gets me. I'm not deserving of good things. Do you see how powerful this cycle can be? And if we shift this for the better, do you see how powerful that could also be? So let's talk about shifting it for the better. The first step, number one, bring awareness. We've already talked about this. Look at the thought groove without judgment and instead curiosity. Maybe we can't go from judgment to love, and that's fine, but we can go from judgment to curiosity, and curiosity will lead us down to a path of self-acceptance. Sounds crazy? Try it. Try it. Okay, I've got this thought. I must be stupid. I've got to be stupid, right? We've already talked about this. It's so difficult, but bring awareness to it. And because it's been in the closet working without your awareness, right? It's going to take some time. So just be patient with yourself and say, I thought this thought again. Maybe you can even tally it up. I thought this thought 10 times today. I'm maxed out on this thought. How can I start to, number 2, slow down the thought? So we're not even changing it at this point. We're just bringing awareness and we're just asking questions and slowing it down. So every thought, right, is going to the same. Every thought is going to the same. But instead of it being so subconscious, instead of it being just a habit that is in the closet working on its own and we don't even have a handle on it, we're starting to put our gaze on it. We're starting to put our eyes on it. Wow, okay, I'm noticing that this thought is popping up. I'm just going to sit here with this thought. No judgment. Judgment is the quickest way to close up like a clam. Judgment's the quickest way. So just take a moment. Instead of closing up, ask questions. Why am I thinking this thought? What about this thought am I so obsessed with? Slowing down the thought will come from also asking questions, but slowing down the thought. When we have gone through this cycle so many times, we can get there like this. It's so fast. Slowing it down. We can jump to conclusions when we move quickly. So slow it down, start to ask questions, and then slowly but surely, as you're asking questions, you can even ask the question, what thought do I want to think? What's a step in the right direction? Maybe it's not a whole different thought way down here. This picture is starting to look a little crazy, but we listen and we don't judge, right? We ask questions. Maybe it's not way down here. Maybe it's still in that old thought, but just outside of it, right? So what we're going to do now is we can take different steps, and you can do this with affirmation work. You can do this with assessing the root belief, taking little baby steps outside of that old thought until we can get to a totally different thought. So this isn't jumping from I'm stupid to I'm the smartest person in the world. It's every day I'm working on self-acceptance, right? Every day I'm accepting myself for who I am authentically and how I'm showing up authentically that day. Some days I'm going to be on it, some days I'm not. See how those are little shifts, little shifts, little shifts. Then the next thing that we're going to do is every straggling thought that comes in that wants to go over here, this is the hardest part, we're going to move it and deepen the new thought groove. Every new thought coming in, we got to keep it going to the new thought. Over time, the deeper we make these thought grooves, the more this path will become overgrown. This takes time. Be patient with yourself, because really at the end of the day, we're creating a whole new path. And that requires us to get the axe out, to chop down the brush, the brambles, the weeds, so that we can get to a new destination that looks different, that feels different. And you can even assess your emotions. How do I want to feel day to day? And what are the thoughts to that, right? Lots of people will say, Mariah, that's brainwashing. And at the end of the day, everything is. People can negatively brainwash themselves as well. Why wouldn't we brainwash ourselves for the better, to feel good about ourselves? Because we could actually look at the world through the lens of that. We'd have a lot more compassion. We'd have a lot more love. We'd have a lot more self-acceptance, self-awareness, generosity. a new path to destinations that will make us feel good over and over and over again. All right, I'm going to leave you with this. We got 3 minutes. Number 1, what destinations does your current thought paths, thought grooves, have you ending up at? What destinations do these thought grooves and pathways have us ending up at? Are they feeling good? What is that causing us to feel day to day? Question number 2. Number 3, big one. This is a big one I use in hypnotherapy. Fast forward in your mind's eye. What does this destination look like? What is this feeling you're feeling over and over and over again look like down the line long term? This will help you really assess, holy crap, this is not good for me whatsoever. If you keep on this path, if you keep on this old thought groove, what does it look like long term? Question number 4, what new thought paths would you like to clear today? How can we get our axe out, our tools, right? And start to clear away brush. Where would you like that thought groove to lead you? Maybe it's to bliss, maybe it's to gratitude, maybe it's to self-acceptance, authenticity. What would you like to feel in those destinations? Peace, pleasure, ease. And last question, what would you like the new destination to look like long term? I want to make sure that I love myself. I want to make sure that every thought that I'm thinking is going towards how can I love myself? How can I accept myself? But also encourage myself to expand, encourage myself to step out of my comfort zone. All right. That's all I got for you. Lots of messages in the chat. I am going to have to hop out, but I see mine was always, I couldn't be lovable after how I abandoned myself and treated others incorrectly. Quick note, if you, with this comment in particular, you'll have a lot more grace with yourself if you realize that it just came from thoughts, thought over and over again to create beliefs that created feelings that caused you to alter your behavior, right? And of course, anybody thinking those thoughts, anyone with those beliefs would cause them to alter their behavior. So have a little grace with yourself also. And yeah, feel free to watch the recording of this. I'm going to keep this on. As I said, if you're able to grasp this, it will shift your reality. It will shift your reality, and you can see why. Because our reality is I'm looking for evidence that confirms this bias. You shift your bias, you shift what information you're absorbing, what lenses you're looking out at the world through. How can we look at the world through compassion, through love, through generosity? And you can do that through your beliefs. All right, I am sending you guys so much love. I have to hop out and I'm doing another live, but big hearts. Whatever you need from the channel, I am here. I'm a real person and I create content based off of what you need. So if you're having trouble sleeping at night, if you're having trouble getting up out of the bed in the morning, I'm here to support you. I send so much love, big hugs. I got a lot of content coming for holiday stress because I know it can be a very stressful time for lots of us. And I will see you next Wednesday at 11:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. every Wednesday. All right. Adios.